Hi, I'm Julie Ralston from fashionNZ.co.nz, and today we're talking with designer Yvonne Bennetti. Yvonne, tell us about your label.
I've just finished the Resort collection. It's 1970s Moroccan retro inspired, so there's lots of suede. I've actually for the first time done hand painting on silk, so I've done lots of long 1970s caftans, hand painted with orchids and very, very vibrant colours, bright oranges, turquoises. And that's also reflected in all the jewellery that I used for the collection as well, which was also from Afghanistan. So the colours I've used this season are orange, turquoise, a very vibrant yellow, almost canary yellow, and all in silk, and a lot of beading and printing. So it's been quite a fun collection to do.
And that's a resort collection for women who are travelling from the southern hemisphere to warm climates at this time.
It is, but it's also quite appropriate for New Zealand right now because it's also appropriate for ball seasons. People are wearing them for balls and wearing like long woolen coats and Mongolian lamb's fur coats that we're doing at the moment to wear over the dresses. So it's got quite an interesting sort of feel to it.
Yvonne, how did you come to be a fashion designer?
Oh, that's a long story. I was very influenced by my mother. She had a clothing store when I was young, and I sort of started out when I was about 14 years old, and I started doing hand-painted t-shirts for her with the store, and she was a manufacturer, so I was like quite in awe of her. So she did knitting and had all the garments made, and she had 60 workers working for her, so I used to follow her around as a kid, and I think that was really left a good mark in my footstep to carry on. And then I studied design here. I left design school and worked with Trelise Cooper as her assistant designer for 2 years, and then ended up going to Hong Kong. So
now, what was it like taking your whole life and immigrating to Hong Kong?
it was bizarre. I think mainly because of the job that I actually ended up doing, which was a textile job working for a mainland Chinese company, and I was the only Westerner out of 70 Chinese, so it was sort of a bit like coming from Mars to Earth, really. And but it was fun, and I learned a lot, and it really did inspire me to want to do something for myself. And when I worked for the mainland Chinese textile company, I mainly worked in America, so that was all just textile design and manufacturing. So.
And this was big scale stuff. I recall you telling me something like 500,000 metres of greige twill on occasion.
Ridiculous, like orders for Gap and Mars and Limited and people like that, Ralph Lauren. So it really was a good education, I guess you could say. And
then, as I recall, you started to design some fabrics for some Australasian designers. Is that correct?
Right. That's right. And then I worked in conjunction with some Italians who brought in Italian fabrics, and they took on my collection, which they sold throughout Australia. And we sold, I think at one stage I was selling to about 30 designers, so I think we worked out about 20 in Australia, 10 here, and a few in London.
And some big names from these parts, hey?
Yeah, really big names. So it was a very exciting time, but it got to the stage where I just wanted to move on, and I wanted to do my own collection, and it sort of evolved like that.
And now in 2008, you've moved back to New Zealand completely.
That's right.
Now, last year's New Zealand Fashion Week show, to me, seems like it was a bit of a breakthrough. It was a really big show with a big audience, got lots of press, and I suspect that your fan base has grown. What made the difference?
I don't know, to be honest, but I think that we have grown as, I think, first of all, we were a brand that was just sort of Auckland known, and now it's a New Zealand known brand. So I think there's that from the second Fashion Week from the year prior.
Sure.
And certainly press and that sort of thing. We've had very good press in the last 2 years, and that's made a huge difference. And maybe the collection's changed a little bit, I think.
Now, I noticed on your website you're doing a bridal collection. What can you tell us about that?
It's sort of a bridal collection, but it sort of isn't. So it could be interpreted as something for a bride, or it could be something for somebody who wanted to wear it to a party, so to speak. So it's not traditional bridal. I am working on a dress at the moment, which is pale pink. So I think bridal as such, like brides who come to me and not looking for the traditional dress.
Now, you also design shoes, delicious shoes. What's your favourite for this season?
I do quite a lot of work with snakeskin and bright coloured silk satines, but these are some of my favourites. This is a snakeskin, natural snake, and a red bottom sole. All the shoes are handmade and we make them to order for people, so it's quite nice. So if you've got a small foot or big foot or funny feet.
And I noticed that it's got the very big news pretty high heel going on there.
Yeah, this is 4 inches, and that's sort of a standard sort of heel that I do, and people seem quite happy with that in New Zealand.
Would it be fair to say that Yvonne Bennetti customer is not too concerned with practicality?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, you're just about the uncontested queen of the party frock in New Zealand, so we'd love to see your favourite that's in store at the moment.
It's basically a 1920s flapper dress, but I've done it in all black as well, and it was a piece that I'd actually bought it at a French antique shop, and it was just a cutting like that, and then I adapted it to the dress. So I'm quite proud of it because it's come up quite nicely, and looks really good on. So
It looks like it'd be actually very flattering too.
it is actually. It suits a lot of people, so that's been very popular.
Just beautiful. Finally, where to next for Yvonne Bennetti?
Oh, you've asked a question at the right time. We're just in talks with looking at something in the US, so can't say anything more right now, but it's quite exciting what we're talking about. So anyway, I'll let you know later, but it all sounds very positive.
There's a very tantalising teaser for us. We've spoken with Yvonne Bennetti. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks, Julie.